Hello, hello. It is week 7 of the spring 2018 semester, and as always, we're starting off with the CAD calendar, see what we'll be going over this week. And we should have a nice, quick, easy week for you. We've got the whole wizard and using blocks. As always, we've got this practice part up on Blackboard, and I've got it done here, and I'm going to go ahead and create it along with you. Just an overview of what we'll be doing is use the whole wizard to create this right here without having to do any complex dimensioning. We can see all the work SolidWorks does for us, but we just have to give it a few criteria and then it'll make this for us. And then I'm going to create blocks over here, which is repeatable geometries. I can show you that more when we get into it. So to start, I'm going to go ahead and create this part. Bottom right, MMGS. Go ahead and check that when I make my new part. MMGS, cool, cool. So I'm just going to get the general shape of this. We all should be pretty good at sketching right now. I'm going to go ahead and start on the right plane. I think that's a first for us. Doesn't really matter, but spice things up a bit. So I'm just going to go ahead and sketch this general shape of this. And then we'll go ahead and dimension it out. Great, great. And we can see it's going to be 50 by 70. So I'll go ahead and dimension that. 50, 70, and then this distance right here is going to be 17, and that's going to be 20, 17, perfect, 17, 20, and now we've got one last dimension, which is this 15 right here, from here to here. It's going to be 15, and then we're underdefined. This line right here is able to move. I'm going to go ahead and make this and this collinear, and that should fully define our sketch. So I'm going to go ahead and extrude this out 35 millimeters. Again, this is nothing new. We shall be pretty good at this. We should be pros. I'm going to change that direction. I just think it looks better. Doesn't matter. And that's going to be 35. And we've got this general geometry. Going back to last week's lesson, I'm going to go ahead and add a fillet to these 4 corners with a radius of 15. Just going to get the isometric view, select fillet, change our radius to be 15, and I'm going to be choosing the edges here and all 4 of these right here to be a radius of 15. Alright, looks good. And now we're going to get to the new material. So we've got this countersunk hole right here, and we're going to say we wanted to use a screw and we wanted it to sit flush with this top right here. We could make this countersunk hole, but rather than going through and making these kind of complex dimensions to get this kind of angled surface right here, SolidWorks has a feature called the Hole Wizard, which can be right up here. The Linda videos give a very good overview of what it is, but again, it pretty much has very well-known standards for hole types, different sanctioning bodies like ANSI. You guys will probably start in inch. I'm going to go in metric. We can see here it says metric. It's going to be an M8. That should tell you metric. So it's got a ton of hole types, whole ton of standards, and lots of different types of holes that you'd want to use. So right here we have an M8 socket countersunk. So we're going to choose countersink. We're in metric, and we're going to have a socket head cap, and we're going to be an M8, so 8 millimeters, and we're going to have it through all. Great. So we've got the whole type selected, and again, there's pretty much every type under the sun you could ever want. So if you want to create a screw that's going to be flush with this face, you'd go here, and if you want to just make sure all your holes are 8 millimeter through, you can go ahead and use this feature to keep it consistent throughout your entire part when you guys are building assemblies and joining multiple parts together. But now we're going to position this. It's going to ask us for the face or plane. We're going to keep it simple. We're not going to go in 3D sketches just yet, but just know that's an option. So I'm going to choose this top plane, and we can see it's asking us where we want to place it. I'm just going to place it down kind of randomly and then dimension it out. So I'm going to go off this sketch right here. I'm going to go normal to this face and dimension it out. All this is doing for this position, it makes a point, so that's all we have to dimension off of. None of this is dimensionable, just this point. So this is going to be 17.5, And then we're going to have 15 from here to here. And of course, bottom right, always check if we're fully defined, which we are. We're good on dimensions, and we can go back to type, double check, and we're good. And then you can see what SolidWorks did for us. If I click this, you'll see that SolidWorks did kind of all this smart dimensioning based on the criteria and hole standard that I set. So that's a really neat and powerful tool. It's really handy when you're trying to join multiple parts together and you want to keep all your holes to a certain standard. So that's the basic overview of the hole wizard, and then I'm going to create some blocks here on this front. So I'm just going to go ahead and get this general geometry down with a circle and rectangle inside of it. So I'm going to start a sketch on this back plane. Just going to start with a circle and a center rectangle. And it's going to be a diameter of 17, and it's going to be 10 by 9. So 17, and I believe this is 10, and this is 9. So if you guys watch Linda videos, you should know what a block is. Block is really useful. It's if you have repeating geometry that you're going to use through and through your entire part or even your assembly, you can go ahead and create a block. That's what I'm going to go ahead and do now. I've already got the blocks toolbar selected. If you don't, right click up here and then choose blocks. I just went and hit it. I'm just going to go ahead and select blocks. And then what we're going to do is create a block. So I'm going to select that. Block entities, I want everything here to be a block. I'm going to change my insertion point to be this middle point right here. And I'm going to go ahead and click it, and you can kind of see it gets grayed out. We're still in the sketch, but this means it's a single block. So this is all kind of one entity now, whereas before this, each of these was its own kind of entity. This is all acting as a singular unit now. So we can see this kind of comment right here that this is a block of this above part, but it's going to be 25% smaller. So when I go, I can insert a new block, and it gives me some options. And one of those things is block scale. It's going to be 25% smaller. It's going to be 0.75% of its size. So we can see it creates the same shape, just 25% smaller, or 0.75 scale. So I'm going to go ahead and place that. Then I'm going to start dimensioning these in space. So we've got 18 and 17.5. I'm going to go normal to this. 17.5. Same for this one down here. 17.5. Great. And then this one's going to be 18 and 15. 18 and 15. We're still underdefined. It's because these right here are going to be able to rotate. So I'm going to go ahead and add a relation, make them horizontal. Horizontal and horizontal. That should get us fully defined. It does. And then we're just going to extrude or cut this 10 millimeters. Great. So the really powerful thing about these is you can save a block to a file and open it up in different sketches, open it up in different parts. If you guys want to have any type of repeating geometry, creating a block will save you a lot of time. And same with the hole wizard. If you want to stick with a single hole standard throughout your entire Project 3 device, which we'll get to in a week, it'll be really handy to use the hole wizard for all your holes, because if you do want to go back and change it, just edit the hole wizard feature and it'll update all of them to whatever standard you set it to. So last thing last, we're just going to go ahead and check this part. Went with interesting material this week, going with some cedar. I'm just choosing parts or materials at random at this point, but go ahead and use that to compare it, make sure we got all dimensions right. Cedar, go ahead and apply it, see if I got that wood grain, and then we'll go ahead and evaluate. It should be 3660, 70, 3670. So we've got all dimensions right. Quick overview of the hole wizard and blocks. These are just going to be some time savers for you guys in the future. So that's all I've got for you. Thanks everyone.